Good morning, friends. Welcome to the session 2 of Spring Cloud Microservices. I think in the session 1, we covered about basics of microservices, how to build, what are the disadvantages of with our Hello World or first microservice. Let us try to let us try to fix those disadvantages one by one. The session 2 covers mainly how do you run microservices on dynamic ports. First of all, what is a dynamic port? Why do you need to run them on a dynamic port? Then you will understand the various components. Okay, you know what is a gateway from session 1, right? Now you will understand the next component called registry, or people call it a service registry, application discovery. These are the terms which you are going to learn. So mainly I'll focus on this. If you didn't follow my, if you know what is microservices, no need to follow my session 1. But if you want to understand what is service registry, discovery, how to scale up dynamically a microservice application, this is the one which you can follow. If you want, you can go through the first session, a link will be provided. Okay. Without wasting much time, let me delve into the why do we need to run microservice in a dynamic port. If you are well versed with this example, this diagram, right? So current our application, the employee application, became very popular. You want to scale up, you want to bring more instances up. Okay, like you observe that the JVM employee JVM is not able to handle all the requests. You want to bring one more instance up. I'm calling instance. Okay, pay attention to this word. Instance is like another running application. Okay, so I want to run it on another port, 9030 port. So I run, right, in this typical Spring Boot. I have shown you in the example previous how can you run. So you can run one more instance on 9030 port. But what happens is this, you need to change your gateway to route request to this. So when a new instance comes, you need to make a change to the gateway to route request to the employee API, which is a bad design. So like when scalability needs to be elastic, you need to automatically increase the instances, you should automatically decrease instances. You shouldn't restart any of your infrastructure. The scalability, you need to have elasticity in an automatic fashion. So how can you do that? Those were the problems in the microservices architecture world uh, we have. So in this tutorial, I'm mainly focusing on why do we need to run microservices on dynamic ports. Then you need to have another component like gateway. We need to have a component called registry. Why do you need a registry? What is a registry? Okay, and stuff. So without wasting time, let us switch back into our the architecture. So now you have the same employee application. Now we have two micro. I'm not taking in this example, there is no Python based microservice. Essentially all are Java based. Okay, we have employee API. It is nothing but employee details. Now another API what we have is like employee salary. Okay, now you already know a gateway, which is running on 8080 port. You know this. Now the important component, lot many people get confused in the microservices architecture, is a registry. So what is registry? When you go to a class, right, when you attended the class or not, teacher will take a roll call. She maintains a registry. Okay, Balaji attended, Alex attended, Tom didn't attend it. So it's like registry contains who are the active members in the class. Similarly, a registry contains what are the active services in that deployment. Okay, so a registry keeps track of application instance. It keeps track of application instance. Now we have employee API and salary API. So what happens is when employee API comes up, when you start employee API, what it will do is it will register with registry. Similarly, when you run a salary API, it says that I'm the new instance. It is going to register with this registry API. So you know, right? Every application has to run on a port. Let me take, so registry runs on 8. This is, let me use another color, like registry runs on port 8761. Employee runs on port 9000, and salary runs on port 9010, and gateway runs on port 8080. This is good. But the application instances shouldn't run on a static port. Why? The reason is, let me give. So the gateway knows how to route requests to the employee or employee salary API, right? Employee, this is the one who knows where is employee API and employee salary API. In our earlier example, we hard coded that in the configuration file. But why do you need to hard code that? If registry says to gateway, saying that employee API is running on particular host on particular port, it is a lot easier, right? So now the responsibility, I'll explain you what. So first thing is, you shouldn't run on a static port. This is wrong. This is wrong for the applications, not for registry and for the gateway. Okay. So employee API and employee salary API shouldn't run on static ports. That's the first thing you have to remember to achieve auto scalability. They should run on a dynamic port. Okay, when you know, if I create a new instance of a salary, it is going to register with registry. What registry will have? What registry will have? Registry will have the host name. It contains host name plus port on which the salary service is running. Okay. So similarly, employee API, which is running on some export, okay, on a random port, it knows it registry. So the gateway is going to fetch that information from here. So the gateway is going to every time fetch where the employee API is running, where the salary API is running. So it really need not to maintain it in the configuration file. So it goes to registry and ask what are active instances of salary serving services, what are active instances of employee detail serving services. So the gateway is going to ask registry. That is the one big change here. So gateway is going to take information from registry, and similarly employee API is going to say that I am available in the registry. Registry is a place where the health of your infrastructure is maintained. Even gateway says that I am healthy to the registry. So gateway sends its information to the registry. So the first thing you understand, the registry maintains what are healthy instances. That's all. That's the responsibility of registry. It won't do anything more than that. So second important point which you need to remember is, like, every time whether I am available or not available, employee API has to send a health check to the registry. So for example, if employee API is for some reason it's not able to respond to registry within some threshold time, like employee is unable to send a heartbeat to registry saying that every 15 seconds employee is to say that I am available. Employee API needs to say that I am available to registry. If within 15 seconds it didn't receive it, the registry doesn't receive any information that employee API is available or not, it is going to delete the entry so that you won't get the stale services. So let me reiterate. Every time the services is going to send health check to the registry saying that we are alive, we are ready to serve the request. If it is not able to send a health check, the registry is going to delete that information. For example, let me use another color. Let me use this one, cyan. So every 15 seconds, it is going to say that I am healthy to registry. Okay, registry waits for every 15 seconds to get that health information from employee API. If it didn't receive from 15 seconds, it is going to break the routes. It is going to break the route. like it is going to delete that information from the registry. This important thing you need to understand, so that the registry is not corrupted. If registry says that these are the healthy servers, these are the healthy servers, that's all. Okay, so that's why the integrity of the registry is preserved. So those are the two things. If you understand, that's fine. Every time when clients comes up, he registers the registry. Every 15 seconds, he sends a heartbeat. If he didn't send a heartbeat, registry is going to delete that entry. So that when a gateway asks registry what are the healthy instances, it only gives the healthy instance information, so that registry, the information in the registry doesn't become stale. Those are the responsibilities of the registry. Now, let us go into let us do a short demo first. Then we will do a little bit of code walkthrough. What is the technologies we used here, and some common problems you might occur, and how do you debug that. That's a very important thing. Now you understood, right? What is a registry? A registry maintains the information of a services. So what services are available? Okay, that's what a registry. It's a Java application, nothing different than that. So few people use the term service registry as well. So this is also called as registry. Someone will call registry, someone will call service registry, service service registry. Both the terms are equal, both are one and the same. So which contains the service information. So this, as usual, the entire session 2 is available in this GitHub repo. So I just documented everything, which as usual, you will have a code base, you will have the video source code, play with it. Now let me do one thing. Let me build the code. So this is what I mean by dynamic routes. Every application instance comes on a random port, so that you really need not to bother about what ports they are running. You can bring how many instances you up. So you don't make any changes in the configuration, any changes in the deployment, nothing. So it's very easy. So dynamic means a random port. The application instance, the REST API or anything runs on a dynamic port. Now let me do a maven clean. So if you see tree, this is you have employee API, gateway, payroll, and the next component which you didn't see in earlier session is registry. Registry is running here. Okay. Now let me build. So I'm building the application because I don't maintain artifacts in the repo. So I used build tab to build the application. Then let me run the employee. So java-jar employee target employee api.jar. Okay, so employee API is getting started. Okay. So the first important thing which you need to understand is, like, every application comes up and registers with the registry, right? So currently registry is not available. So it is complaining that there is no registry. So the first thing which you need to start is not the employee applications. You have to start the registry up. That's not a problem. The order at which it start later, they just discover themselves and fix it. But the good pattern you follow is, like, start the registry first. So I started the employee API, which is not right because employee API didn't find the services, so that it cannot register with the registry. Now let me bring the registry up, payroll gateway, and one more thing we need is, like, registry. So let me rename this as registry. In a way, registry is the first one to come up. I'll put it at the starting. So idea. Okay, so java-jar registry target registry.snapshot. So the first application which I'm going to bring is Registry, which is running on the port 8761. So if you see here, it's going to show you on which port it is binded. That's fine. So started, so this is running on 8761. Let us see what registry contains. It contains, what registry contains? It contains what are the services that are available in the instance of localhost 8761. So it doesn't have any applications that registered with it. So currently I don't start any application that got registered with the registry. Okay, so that's the reason it is like 0 instances. No instances available. So I just started the registry. Not the application. So it doesn't have, neither the gateway doesn't have any application instance details. So no applications. Let me bring one employee API up. Okay, so the same thing, Java jar employee target employee API dot jar. So what it is going to come on some random port. Remember that the port which is going to come is random port, and it registered to the registry. So it discovers the registry and just registers to the registry. So it says, you see here, started application, and the port which it binded is like, see, it's the port 57,310. Okay, so the port on which the employee API ran is like 57,310. So if you see here, refresh, you can see that employee API made an entry in the registry. I'll explain you this, why this name is totally slightly different. Okay, why the application plus some UUID. Okay, we are going to cover that. All you need to remember, when it become up, it registered to the registry. The same thing happens to the salary API also. And the same thing happens to the gateway. Let us run one by one. Okay, let me run the payroll API, Java jar payroll target payroll API. Similarly, the payroll API is up, and it also binded to some random port, which is like 557,328. So if you refresh the registry, you can see that payroll API, the number of instances available is only 1. So it is on here. Now let us start the gateway, the third component here, the gateway we are going to start. Okay. Gateway Java -jar gateway target gateway.jar. So I'm starting the gateway now. What will happen? Gateway does two things. It registers to the registry and fetches what are the healthy application information. What are the healthy applications that are available? Because it has to route request, right? See, it is seeing, it is able to get, it is running on port 8080. We are not running gateway on dynamic port. We are running only two microservices, employee and payroll, on dynamic ports, but not on the not the gateway. That one thing you need to understand. Gateway does two things. It registers with registry and fetches the what are the healthy services. So those are the two things it is going to do. So now if you see, do a refresh, you can see gateway is running on 8080 port. Now you have the entire beautiful infrastructure ready. So gateway, employee, payroll API. Now let me do one thing. You can use curl. So the simple curl command, what you use, curl http://localhost 8080 employee, and give the ID employee 100. So you see here, what is the employee with 100? The details are 100. What is an employee name with 100 as an employee ID is Alex. Okay, the employee ID 100 belongs to Alex. So that is what the employee API gave. Let us see what happened now. you already know it. Simple thing is gateway. Now let me use a let me use a different, not different, let me use only the black color. So the, sorry, so the curl n is fat. Okay, the curl, the request came to gateway asking for employee. It already fetched that information from registry, so it is not going to call registry at all. It is going to call the employee API, then take the response and give it back. This is what an employee API is doing. It is taking, the gateway is taking request, asking employee API and serving the response back. Where the employee API is running, registry has that, gateway fetched that information. That is what, if you know this, you got it really well. That's all. Gateway fetches where the services are running, the information, and stores here and routes the request. Okay. So now, similarly, if you want to ask payroll, what is the salary of employee with ID? With 100, it says 65,000 is the salary. So like gateway is communicating with both the employee and the salary API and fetching the information. Uh, you don't directly contact the employee or salary API because you don't care on which ports you're running. So this is fine. This is really good. Now suddenly your service become very popular. You want to scale up the employee API. The employee API become very popular. Now let us run a one more instance. Like this employee API will run one more instance. So let me run and one more instance of it. So simple is like it's same thing, same command. You run java jar employee target employee API.jar. You run it on one more instance. So it comes up, what it does, it comes up on a random port and register to the registry. That is what it will do. So if you see here, it is coming up on some random port uh, where you essentially don't bother. It registers with the registry. So that is what happened. If you go on to registry and see, you will see that employee API is 2 instances. See, employee API is 2 instances. One is like running on some 57, one is like some 47, whatever the port it runs. You don't care. Similarly, if you want to scale up the third instance of it, it's very simple. The same thing you do. Okay. Java -jar employee target employee API.jar. I am running the third instances of this employee API. So which is going to register with the registry. And you can see that there is a third instance. So there are 3 instances of employee API, payroll 1 instance, and gateway 1 instance. So this is how you can scale up your applications. Then when a new instance is added, should I need to restart the gateway? No. The focus of it, when I add more instances of employee, when I add more instances of payroll, you shouldn't need to restart gateway, because gateway also updates its healthy Tomcat information every 15 seconds. So gateway asks the registry to give what are healthy applications, and it updates its routing logic. When I'm going to the code, I'll explain you all those things. So now you understood the terms of registry, gateway, API applications, why running it on dynamic port is important to achieve scalability, auto scalability, and you don't manage the ports in the environment. Okay. Now let us go into the code, and I'll just explain you a little bit about. So what are the technologies used? So what is a registry? Registry is like let us go to the first component. If you see my code, this is like multi-module Maven project. You have registry, employee API, payroll, and gateway. So if go to the POM file. So make one difference here. It is like Registry is a Eureka server. Eureka is a Netflix project, which is a very popular Netflix project where a Registry is nothing but an Eureka server. It is a Java based. It was written in Java, uh, and lot many people are using it. And Netflix is open sourced it, kind enough to open source this project so that people won't build the registry on their own. Okay, that's the power of open source. So Netflix Eureka server, we are using it as a registry. So to get that into your Spring Boot application, you just do that. One important thing in the registry you want to understand is like, let me show you the application.aml. So the registry is running on port 8761. I call it a Spring Boot application registry. And the registry will have a client which register itself, which we say not needed really. When you have two registries, when you have two gateways, how do you handle? We are going to cover in the next sessions. But for this session, we have only one registry and one gateway, and the registry won't self-register itself. Okay, registry. Okay, if you see this, you're not seeing registry here, right? You only see employee AP, payroll AP, and gateway. Where is registry? It won't register itself. I explicitly made not to register itself. This is what you need to do. And if you see the main application, right? Registry application is nothing but it's a Spring Boot application, and which is like enable Eureka server. It's like you just enable Eureka server, it becomes Eureka server. That's the beauty with Spring Boot. Now let us dwell one thing into employee API a little bit more. Then you will understand what employee API will do. It register with the Eureka server. So for to register with the Eureka server, what you need to know, you need to have Eureka client. So if you see if you see the pom.xml of employee, close others. So which is having Eureka client as a dependency. It's a Spring Boot application, nothing great. I shouldn't say, okay, it's nothing different. So it's a Spring Boot application where we will have a dependency as a Eureka client. All you need is like a Eureka client to give your application information to the server. So if you see, then main resources, employee controller, no change, nothing. You pass an ID, it fetches the data. The main thing here you are doing is like it's a Eureka client. So this one thing you need to understand, it's just need a Eureka client. All your employee API, gateway, and payroll needs an Eureka client, and the application configuration I'll show you. Nothing great, it's just an employee API. One thing you need to understand, this dynamic ports is this. When someone, I made like a configurable, if someone pass the port number, honor that, else assign a dynamic. 0 means dynamic port. Okay. If there is an application name, give the application name colon some random value, right? Few people passes instance IDs so that it's very easy to understand how many instances you are running. So if you pass an instance ID, then use that along with your application name, but I'm not passing it, it is taking random UID value. So this is how an instance is identified. If you see here, employee API, application name, and random value, because we are not passing application instance ID when you're starting the Tomcat. All you do is like, let me cancel it here. Let me kill one instance. So all you do here is like Java jar, and you're not passing anything. So let me do a refresh of registry, whether it got refreshed or not. You see, it got refreshed. You have only two instances. So you're not passing the instance ID. That's the reason. This is what you need to know. You need to enable Eureka client, and you need to say how do you identify your instance with application name colon some random value and bind to some random port. If you see the payroll API is also it's in a similar way. I'm not going to go to payroll API. It's just a copy of employee API, nothing more. The third important thing what you need to do is gateway. The whole logic here, the gateway is like two things. It needs a Eureka client, right? It needs a Eureka client, no doubt, but it needs a gateway. Gateway is nothing but it needs a server, right? A web server. We call it a netty server, which uses Spring Cloud load balancer and to connect. So generally, the gateway or reverse proxies, okay, uses Netflix ribbon component, but Netflix ribbon project is deprecated. So people shouldn't use it. If you are building a new applications using Spring Cloud, you should use Spring Cloud load balancer component to achieve the same. Okay, why it was deprecated, I also didn't go through it well, but don't use Netflix ribbon, use Spring Cloud gateway. Okay, so if you make that dependence, Spring Cloud starter, Spring Cloud load balancer component comes up. So the whole magic happens here, application.ml. See, pay attention to this. This is what you need to know. This is something sometimes it was like a little bit confusing. I'll make it very simple. So you are saying that don't use ribbon because this is historically when you use Eureka's client, automatically ribbon comes up. So you just need to enable it also. False, the application name we call it a gateway. Here, see here routes. If someone says employee API, employee slash star, go to this LB. Here you are not giving any absolute URL or ports, right? Unlike your earlier example, if I show it to you, the earlier example, this is one thing which you need to understand. So sorry if I stress more. If you do my session 1, if you see if you see my gateway configurations, let's see main resources application dot. You see here we hard coded this, which is bad. Okay, we cannot add more and more tomcats. Okay, more and more. So this is not the right way to do. So all you need to do is you need to do a load balancer name. Okay, the magic automate, this is nothing but the application. If you put lb colon slash slash the application name which is there in the registry, the magic automatically happens. The same thing with payroll also, payroll-api. If you put this name, then the magic automatically happens. Like what is meant by magic is like the gateway fetches based on this name, it fetches what is the healthy instances and do a round robin across all the instances, like one after another, one after another gets the request. So if you want to see that, let me open the collection. I think I didn't close this. Uh, bear with me, I should have cleaned my earlier session date file. Import upload files. So I have, let us see, I will access only employee details via gateway. Now I'm send 100. It gave access to which tomcat it came. Let us see here. So see, it came to the first tomcat which is running here. Okay, now let us see what happens if I send. Ideally it should go to next tomcat because the load. So here you see here it came to the second tomcat. The second request came to second. So if I run one more time, and it once again came to the first. So round robin, it is going to first instance, it is going to second instance. Because the third I killed it, right? Else it has gone to that also. Like if I run one more time, it will come to 2. So you see here, it came to 2. So like this, the round robin between the 2 instance requests grow. So if you want, if I use my pen and explain in a diagram. So now what I have here is I have another EMP details instance. So the gateway is not always giving it to this. The gateway also gives it to this in a round robin fashion. Okay, that is what it is doing. Round robin, it is giving to first instance, second instance. So load is also balancing. It is routing the request. Everything is happening. So the entire logic is here. So if you pay attention to this, you all understood about registry, load balancer, how gateway things. Okay, so that is about the gateway. Gateway is nothing but, if I open the application file, it is nothing but Spring Boot and enable Eureka client. It is having a Eureka client, and it is having a Spring Cloud gateway as a dependency. So now you understood, right? What is a registry? Eureka server. What are the, and all the clients, when they enable Eureka client and register with the registry. Gateway gets information about healthy services and route request to it. So this entire demo is in my GitHub repository. You can download, build, and play with it. So if you see my GitHub repository, you can build this entire code and everything. So and play with it in a very easy fashion. There was an explanation. Now what's next? Okay, so now next coming, okay, it's well and good, you have microservices. Then what is in the next tutorial you're going to cover? Microservice communication. How two microservices come. Now employee service is not calling it to the payroll is not calling employee service. So what next we are going to cover is like inter microservice communication I'm going to cover. So please watch that session as well. Very important thing. Then I'll cover the synchronous form of inter microservice communication. Then later I'll go to asynchronous form of inter microservice communication. Yeah, so anything I need to cover? Code walkthrough, routes, yeah, that's all I'm done. If hope you might have liked this session. So if you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you.